And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA online at WTKA.com. Sam Webb, Ira Weintraub on the other side. And it is time for the Monday morning quarterback. He is in the building, fresh from Alaska. You know, you shoot a lot of shows. Alaska, The Last Frontier.
Hey, man.
Is the one you just shot.
Just relax, man.
I mean,
like I said before.
We inside.
Like I said before, I do not play games with the Michigan weather. I've lived here for 30 years, and I am not going to be fooled by, the sun is out or something like that. I'm not taking no chances. I got stuff to, like you said, I got stuff to do. So I'm not taking no chances. If I get too hot, I'll take it off. But right now, I'm nice and cozy.
Yeah, I'm surprised, man. Where are the shades for indoors? I mean, you do that, don't you?
Actually, the way you cut the lights on, I should have brought them.
That's what I'm
saying.
Like
way too high. What are we doing? Like, I'm not trying to be cute. Cut the lights off.
Hey, man, it's for the camera. It's for the camera. So, anyway, DG, I don't know what your, score prediction was heading into the game.
Yeah.
Did any of your predictions and any of the interviews you did have Michigan running for 400 yards on Penn State?
Nah, Chief. That just don't happen. Not against the top 10 team. No punts. 400 yards rushing. That's a lot of yards, man. And I don't know. I'm not a fool and I'm not a scientist, but I do know some things. And I do know that is more than 4 football fields. Did you know that? Look at that math. That's more than 4 football fields, not including the end zones, obviously.
Yeah, man. Even Spidey can figure that out.
That's what I'm saying.
Man.
418 yards. And it's not like, they kind of piled on. It's like we really earned like the yards. It was impressive. I'm so glad I was able to go. It was so impressive to watch up close. You know what I was confused about? I thought Blake Corum for sure had 200. I'm like, 160, that's it? I thought he had 200 yards. I mean, but it was exceptional. And it was a joy to watch. And the thing is, I love the way they sprinkled in the JJ runs, just here or there, nothing too drastic. And the thing is, it keeps those defenses extremely honest, and it allows for us to run for 400 plus yards.
Yeah, man.
Outstanding.
One of the things we talked about.
Offensive line. Oh, they're so good.
One of the things we talked about in the pregame was how are they going to open up this run game against a supposedly good run defense? Would it be through the pass? Would it be with JJ runs? We talked about JJ runs. We saw them go with a bluff run early in the game. We saw them sprinkle in some QB counter. You don't got to run them 20 times. Just run them like 5. Yeah.
You don't got to do it too much, It's you just got to throw off the tendency, right? One of the players are going to break down, speaking of tendencies, remember, he said every time you motion, we run the ball. Broke a tendency right away and got a big play from Ronnie Bell. He got up talking a little smack. I can't wait to diagram that one, but it was so many cool plays. We can't do them all, right? Because the show will be like 40 minutes. No, they're like 40 minutes plus 2 hours, like 2 hours and 40 minutes, But it was so fun to watch all the different little wrinkles and different things like that, and just watch a team completely dominate from the start, right? And it's so funny because if you look at the box score at the beginning, at the halftime and things like that, you're like, man, this is how it should be, right? Top 5 team, top 10 team, right? It's a dog fight, and Michigan might lose this one. No, if you were there and you watched the game, that game was not even as close as it seemed.
Man.
I mean, just pure and utter domination. One play on offense in the first half and one play on defense that both led to touchdowns. One was a pick 6, and the other one was a long run from Clifford that got them down, and then they punched it in. I think did they go for it on 4th down? Like, it took them all the way to 4th down to get in the end zone. I'm just looking like I've never seen a team be dominated like this. It's in the first half, and it's like, we already know what's going to happen in the second half, right? Like, is anybody confused at what's going to happen in the second half? Like, it was exceptional. I really enjoyed it. It was good.
You can't plan for flukiness, right? There was some fluky stuff. I mean, if there's one thing about Michigan was that maybe the biggest change is they got touchdowns instead of field goals.
Yeah.
The field goals allowed for some hope to remain intact in the first half, right?
Yeah, we're going to diagram some of that too, because like we talked about last year, that's something that can really hurt us. And that's why that's essentially, I'm just going to say, that's why we lost to Michigan State last year, right? If we score touchdowns on those drives, we break their necks and they quit. similar to the way Penn State did a little, right? And there's no real game. There's no call that needs to be made with a sack that is a sack and it's a fumble or whatever the case may be, or safety. If we score in the red zone, then all those things go away and we dominate Michigan State. And so
wait.
That's an issue still.
Wait, this one. He called you Nathan Seymour.
Told you not.
This dude Nathan Seymour called you Prince Hakeem
All right,
Jaffa.
Hold on. How does $1 million American dollars sound to you?
Prince Hakeem had it pretty good, man.
All right. You can call. I think I should change my Instagram name and stuff to Prince Hakeem. Dang right.
You do look like Prince Hakeem, man.
What is this? Velvet.
So you saw them just very, very intentionally, to get back to the point you made about running JJ early in the game, get him on perimeter a couple times, run him a little bit, keep him honest. Blake Corum's touchdown run. You saw the effect on that play because their linebacker is blitzing on that play. I mean, if he doesn't hesitate, if he doesn't pause, there's a good chance he beats Colston Levin, who's coming across to block him. There's a good chance he beats him and makes the play in the backfield. Yeah. If that's not J.J. McCarthy right there, he probably makes a beeline for the running back and hits it, tackle for a loss. But because he has to pause and look at J.J., now the play gets started. Blake Corum does the rest.
And so what you're describing, I'm sure Coach Borges have kind of talked about it before. It's winter blocks, right? So it creates perfect angles for the offensive lineman to get there, right? These are big 300-pound men. I mean, we got some talented athletes, but they're still huge, and those linebackers can fly. You know what I mean? And so when you make linebackers stay in a position or hesitate, it gives that extra beat for the offensive lineman to get in position to block a guy, right? And sometimes it doesn't get them in position, and they have to find a way to be a good athlete and go get them. But when you set up winter blocks, I mean, that's what's going to happen, right? You're going to hit your head on the goalpost more times than not. And you see it often where just the slightest hesitation or the slightest step the wrong way, right, to account for a JJ running or whatever the case may be, it sets up these amazing angles for the offensive linemen, and now they can just go be big, strong men and kind of move people out. So it's good. It's really good for Michigan.
Yeah, man. I mean, the comments keep coming in. Mary says, "Where is Devin? Where is he at that he's so cold? We're not treating this man bad."
No, y'all are treating.
We're not treating this man bad.
See, this is a sponsor segment. We need some better heating and cooling here.
That's not true. And let me
I'm
say, we are brought to you by our friends at Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. You see it on the hat. Right, we are going to be up at GTR for the Rutgers game. Looking forward to that.
You want to borrow this outfit? You want to borrow this outfit? It's 2 layers here, and this is about 3 or 4 layers. But
we inside, man. We're not doing the show outside.
You want to borrow this outfit? I'm just telling you.
And then the other piece is they announced that Wolverine Weekend is coming back. So an event that was an outstanding time last year is going to be back in year 2, and they have already started putting those packages up for sale over on grandtraverseresort.com.
The weekend of June 9, 10, and 11. June 9, 10, 11 will be Wolverine Weekend 2.
Yeah, man. And so, DG, as you look back, and JJ kind of talked about this, man, when did you know? This was a question to him after the game. When did you know that you were going to be able to push this team around? He said, we knew from the jump. We knew from the opening drive that this team had nothing for us. Mm-hmm. And you could see it on James Franklin's face, man. Like, I know you aren't seeing the TV down on the field, but in the press box, it flashed over to his face.
That's the worst.
And the dude looked like, I mean, what do you play when you look at your coach and you could see he has no answers? What does that do to you as a player?
Do we really need to talk about what are you trying to do here? Next subject. That was not a setup. Next subject, dude. I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to talk about something else. I don't even know what I was about to say, man. You just threw me all off.
Hey, man, that wasn't even a setup. I was just talking about in general.
I'm about to leave.
That was just in general.
Subjects, you making me, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
That was just in general.
Be nice.
Damn.
You know? Did you see the game? He was watching the same game we were watching. That's why he felt demoralized. He's like, man, we calling our best stuff. And all we can get is a tippity tap over the head and bounce off the shoulder for a touchdown and one long run where we dedicate one guy to him. And I'm just telling you, Clifford is – I was talking to Mozzie and Morris, right? I'm like, what are we doing, bro? Get him to the ground. Like, why didn't we get no sacks today? It was at the end. We already dominated the game. They were done for the day. He's like, I was like, but Clifford kind of slippery, ain't he? He said, yeah, man, like we had him, but he just kept on. I'm like, well, he's desperate. I've been there. When you're desperate and you're fighting for all my life, I had to fight. When you're fighting for your life, you can get out of some crazy situations. And he was fighting for his life from the start. I mean, the defensive line was all over him. I've been there. Oh, Clifford, are you okay? That's rough, man. I'm telling you, I feel for him. It's rough when you drop back and you have no real chance, and you make one guy miss, but then it's like 2 or 3 other guys. It's like he's wearing a knee brace. You know, I know I'm sure maybe his knee's not messed up, but it ain't perfect. I can tell you that. Mm-hmm. And he was fighting for his life, man. Kudos to him, man. He was fighting for his life, getting out of some tough situations, had that big run, but I mean,
hey man. Yeah, first of all, I'm proud. I mean, every now and then you show me the depth of your 80s knowledge. It's a little hard, but you just did the Color Purple.
Oh yeah,
just did the Color Purple.
It's actually on Netflix right now, I think.
Like, man, look at you. But we got questions coming in and we'll get to your questions. I see them.
What more do you want from me?
We're going to give you
I got to go Tyrese a little sooner.
Yeah, the opportunity to get your questions in after all the comments about Devin's attire have gone by.
Why is everybody on me like this? I'm just trying to be warm.
Well, they think we treating you bad.
No, I'm being bullied at this point.
That's not true. See, that comment that I asked you about where you look at your coach, he looks like he doesn't know what's going on. That was not intentional. Back to that was not intentional. We have some questions about the game, about the interception. Okay, let's do it. About the interception.
Okay, got it.
So what did you see on that play? Because my novice eye, I'm watching it, and I didn't quite understand the stride. I didn't understand if it was a bust because they had a tight end. They had a tight end slide the same way that they have a tight end kicking out.
Yeah,
kicking out to that side too. And I'm like, man, is that what they were trying to do?
I don't think the tight end was supposed to be kicking out. I think he might have been supposed to be reach blocking, but the defender did such a good job of he started outside, right? And tight ends, even though they're an extension of the offensive line, they're not the greatest at doing all the offensive line stuff. They're good, right? They're good at it, but they got to be half and half, right? They got to be good receivers. They got to be good. They can't always focus on offensive line things. And so I think he should have. I mean, I have to know. Like, he had to have supposed to reach him. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real reason to kick him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's weird. But it was such a lucky play. Oh man, it's like I'm just looking like I cannot believe this. And so JJ came and talked to him. I'm like, oh man, yeah, keep controlling the game. You're doing a great job. You know, go bury him. Right? He's like, yeah, we're about to go bury him. And so. But then, wait, can we please make the tackle, dude? What are we doing? Aren't you like fast? Get the guy to the ground. He's like, yeah, I know, man. The ball, but like the ball, like I'm sure he thought the play was dead. Like
he was getting blocked too. He
bounced off a head, and then it bounced off his shoulder pad, and then the guy like, oh my gosh, the ball, right? It's like a present, and then he runs up the sideline, and I'm like, hey man, anytime you see that ball get tipped, just sprint to it and just punch it in the ground. Sprint to it as fast as you can. He's like, I got you, and then obviously he went on and proceeded to bury, along with his teammates, obviously, bury Penn State. It was good to watch, but it was such a lucky play. It can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody.
So I thought of you on that play. I was like, I wonder what Devin would tell him. Would you tell him to hold that or stuff happens? But then I thought about you on the play in the second half where he throws it late across the field. Yeah, man.
It wasn't technically across the field. It was. I'm telling you. All right, let me address it now. First, it was an outstanding play. All right. Second, do not want to get used to doing that.
That's right.
One, outstanding play. Two, do not want to get used to desperately avoiding sacks. That's what Coach Borges calls it. But Coach Borges also knows there's some give and take with a talented player, right? Because sometimes desperately trying to avoid a sack is going to win you a football game. and it's going to put you in position to win a football game. It's gonna put you over the top when you desperately need it. But it also is going to lose you a couple games. You know what I mean? Right? So you don't want to get used to it. And so remember early in the season when he was doing the runaround and everything, I said, dude, he seems very calculated. He seems very calculated. And it's against Hawaii. Oh, it's against UConn, a little better. Oh, it's against, Maryland? Oh, a little better. Oh, you know what I mean? It's just all you keep moving the goalposts. Well, now it's a top 10 team, and he made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let me reiterate. You do not want to get used to desperately avoiding sacks and throwing the ball, but how about the ability to get it right over the flat defender? He's reaching and jumping as high as he can. I'm sure they got like Burt Max and all that at Penn State. Can't get there, just over the hairs of his chin.
Hey, man.
And jumps right to Blake Corum. Amazing.
I love Jay. Love you. I think that stuff was like.
You said what?
I said, man, to desperately avoid the sack and the perfect arc on the ball, I think it was some skill there. I think it was some luck there, too. I think it was just a little tiny bit of luck.
Wait, is that not what life is?
Okay. I'm just saying.
We
like
have,
you said
a
a couple weeks ago
to put us in position to get lucky.
Yeah, because a couple weeks ago when I said, hey, he's on the perimeter, he knows exactly where his guy is going to be, and he finds him in the back of the end, he's like, stop it, Sam. Stop it. You're giving him too much credit.
Maybe a little too far at that.
Maybe a little too far.
But it did exactly what he intended it for him to do.
It did.
Right? It's not like, you know what I mean? It didn't get tipped. Like, literally, it did exactly. I don't even know how he saw him so quick while he's getting tackled. And the thing is, I don't think he would. He didn't anticipate how quick and fast that guy was, right? So he got on him a little quick. And then, but he made the play, dude. Like I said, you don't want to get used to trying to do that all the time. But I mean, if you got it, I mean, I am not going to keep telling people who got something special to stop doing it. That's insane. That's ridiculous. Why would I put handcuffs on a guy that can do things like that? You can put parameters and kind of, hey, make sure we are a little judicious with all these decisions that we're making. But it's not like he's a repeat offender of bad plays. It just doesn't happen, right? And so to see that play made, it's like, okay. Ooh, shit, that was good. Man, that was a good play. All right,
exactly
next call.
what it was like. That's exactly what it was like.
Okay. Oh,
they said Jim was shaking his head.
Bro, he about to have to go to the hospital. He got all kind of heart problems and head trauma watching this kid play. But it's good. It feels good, but I'm telling you, it's got to be stressful. If I'm the guy who's getting paid kind of all this money to win games, and I got him out here doing all this craziness, I'm stressed out, but I'm also extremely happy. But I'm stressed out a little bit. I'm stressed out a little bit, and I'm not getting paid to do the game.
Right. So, hey, man, so you got a chance to be down there, to be in the atmosphere.
It was awesome.
Didn't it remind you of, I don't know, a certain night game under the lights where the fans really showed up in droves?
It was rocking, man. I'm telling you, who would have known? Who would have thought that Michigan would have a home field advantage, right? Where it was so loud that they couldn't communicate, they couldn't get things done. And so I want to kind of give a lot of credit. I mean, when I first got to the stadium, it was a bad experience. It was like a usher, not an usher, because ushers are inside the stadium. It's like a stadium tunnel guy, like tried to not let me in the game. And I want.
They didn't know. They didn't know who you were, man.
I almost acted real, I'm like, just get out of the way, dude. What are you doing? Like, stop. He followed me always. Hey, there's a guy in a black jacket, a black something coming down. He's coming down now. I said, while you following me, there are people walking inside the stadium that shouldn't be here. Just leave me alone. I said, please stop talking to me. Please, just don't talk to me. Stop it.
See, you wouldn't have this problem if you were on a big noon show, kickoff show. They see you more.
Charles like, man, come on, man, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, mister, I need to do my job so seriously or whatever. It won't stop like talking to me. But aside from that, outstanding. The ushers on it's like we see the football team doing their job, right? The coaches doing their job. They're working so hard. And so I think it goes unnoticed. The cheerleaders, the dance team, the ushers, like the policemen, the military people the fans did their job. I mean, everybody was like working together for a common goal. It's one of the most amazing things I could ever. What you laughing about, man? What is wrong with you?
Hey, man, these people owe you in the comments, man.
I don't care about these people, and they better be nice, because I will find you and block you.
What dude said? Devin tried to fight Ukraine. You had to know.
Man,
You had to know.
Listen, all of the as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. Everybody in that stadium, except for that one guy that tried to stop me from getting in the stadium, who I don't like. Everybody was doing their job and doing it to the best of their ability, enjoying themselves. I remember a time where at halftime, everybody mostly would leave, right? The student section would be a little empty and then come back the second half. Nobody left, it felt like. It felt like everybody stuck around to make sure that the Wolverines had an advantage, and it was a joy to watch. And I'm just going to leave now because obviously –
Kobe Nichols said, Devin looked like Black Saint Nick. It's not Christmas yet, Santa.
I am Santa. I'm bringing y'all all these gifts every week, and you think you can do this to me? I will have everybody in this chat playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get through with you.
Oh man.
Shoot program.
So yeah, let's make sure we keep it PG. I am going to now solicit questions, all right? Because we got to get to
real questions about football and not my attire.
Yeah, that's all that people talking about right now.
The radio people are like, man, I wonder what he wearing. The radio people are like, I wonder what he wearing.
Yeah, and the video people want to know what your role was in Rocky IV.
What your role is in Rocky IV. Are you about to go fight in Ukraine? Are you an extra in Rocky?
So no, we're not going to do football.
Did you play? Are you auditioning for a role of Coming to America 3? They all been in here, man.
And they want to know. They also want you to know about your friendship with Nino Brown.
I can't wait until you guys are cold during this winter. I can't wait. And I want you to tweet me the same way you tweet me now. I want you to say, oh, yeah, cold, haha, I'm a little chilly. And guess who's not going to be chilly? Raise your hand. Me. It's not going to be me. I'm not gonna be chilly.
See, now that's not chinchilla, is it? You're not wearing chinchilla, are you?
This is $25,000 alpaca. You don't rub it. You block that.
Somebody say, oh, no, that's fine. Like, that's why Devin is doing his best Frank Lucas. That's what Wilson 223 said.
That's right, Wilson. So 223.
All right, we got to get serious. All right, we got to
I've been trying.
And for everybody watching, it is not that cold inside.
It's not. We aren't treating
it. Usually is. It used to be. We have fixed the air system.
All right, man. Is that better?
So listen. Questions for Devin. You can get them in on Twitter right now. You can tweet them at us as well. We're going to try to stick to the serious questions, right? Serious questions about the game.
Sam, you
serious
are not
questions
doing a very
about
good job
Michigan State. Hey, man, that's all they talk about. That's all they talk. I mean, I happen to notice it too. Like, what's the deal, Devin? I mean, did the chill come over your body? I mean, you a little sick?
Hey, you know I'll be chilling.
All right. So anyway, we got to get to this break. Back on the other side with more Monday Morning Quarterback on the other side here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Anybody, this might be the greatest episode of Monday Morning Quarterback ever.
That's all right. I'm about to take all my clothes off and just have a white beater on. And then y'all be talking about that. Dang, that was 300 pounds now.
Oh, my God. All right. So,
this is crazy.
Questions for Devin.
Treating me like a bald-head stepchild with no potential.
Questions for Devin. Get them in now. All right. So, what happened to Monday morning running back? Are you going to be breaking down running back plays this week, Devin?
No. What are you talking about? Is this called Monday morning running? Did I play running back? I'm confused. I mean, I love the running game, but with great running backs and no quarterback play, you stink. You're Michigan State. So it's Monday morning quarterback.
All right, I'm trying to go back and sift through all of these.
We'll let the key, gorgeous Borges, deal with the running back situations.
All right, so here's one that we can address. Jeremy says, I still think we struggle with play calling from the standpoint of calls being mistimed. We have good calls, but struggle at times with the timing of the call. I think we get better when we have all the options open on third and short. Right now, for the most part, we hold the tendencies. I guess I don't get I don't see where in that game, other than in the red zone where they clearly the blitz pressure from Manny Diaz had an effect early. I don't see where tendencies were something that hamstrung them in this game. Do you?
So you saying that long soliloquy that person just wrote was wrong? He took some time to write that.
I didn't see it. I mean,
for me, I just think we do a good job on first and second down for the most part, and kind of getting ahead of the chains and making sure we're in a space where we can execute on third down. But I don't know the numbers, but just to my eye, just watching, it doesn't always seem like we do as good on third. But for sure in the red zone, we struggled on third down, right? Mm-hmm. We got in position, but we just weren't able to capitalize. And so, like I talked about, that was a thing that I was very not happy about last year, especially in Michigan State, because it hurt us so much. But the inability to get touchdowns, right? Not points. We get points all the time, but the inability to get touchdowns in the red zone is something that I think is a more concern than the play call in tendencies and all those different things. It's just you have to get touchdowns, especially when you play with really good teams that score touchdowns, and we know where we're going with it. The Ohio State is going to score touchdowns. You know what I mean? And so if you're trading field goals for touchdowns, it makes it increasingly difficult to win the game. And so I just think we need to continue to work our red zone offense and find ways to get JJ on the edge, get him more comfortable. Don't handcuff him. He's going to make some mistakes in the red zone, right? But I will much rather have those mistakes happen now, right, than have to wait. And then we need him to make plays in the red zone moving forward in the biggest game of his life. And then he's not able to do it because he just haven't gotten accustomed to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that we definitely have to start finding a way to see what he's comfortable with, allow him to make some mistakes, maybe an interception, maybe something that happens, and we'll just have to live with it, knowing that failure leads to great success, right? You can't get to great success in the red zone without failing some. And so I think that there has to be something that's done about that.
All right. And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Sam Webb, Ira Weintraub, Monday morning quarterback. Want to remind you, listen, if you are in the market for a new vehicle, you should get on board with Brighton Ford.
What about if you love the Lord?
Yeah, that's right. And this month, there are super exciting deals at Brighton Ford from now through October 31st. Well-qualified lessees can lease a 2022 Ford F-150. And someone asked during the chat, they say, Devin, does the Ford F-150 have heated seats? Does it have heated seats? They just wonder. I mean,
what's crazy? It does have heated seats, and I definitely cut them on, and it almost burned a hole through my bike. It was so hot. It went through my jacket. So this is a long cloak, if you were wondering. It goes all the way down, just to make sure you're nice and warm all around. Make sure you're nice and warm all around, and the seats are extremely heated, and they warm you up really, really quickly.
Yeah, they were wondering because you definitely are bundled up there. But you can also get a 2022.
Wait, whose side are you on, Sam? It seems like you're not on my side.
I'm on your side.
Okay.
2022 Ford Edge for as low as $329 a month, both with only $2,000 down. No better time than the present to get on board with Brighton Ford. All right, so a lot of questions about play calling and tendencies, Devin. You addressed one in the break. We just had another one come up and said, hey, Devin, what do you get tired of questions about the play calling? And so let me piggyback on that. And I feel like we start to seize upon things that aren't problems. Like you aren't going to have a play or formation work 100% of the time. I'll give you pistol, for example. Pistol had been 100% run play or run formation in Big Ten play. But against Maryland, they were 4 for 6 in hits on that play. They were averaging like 10 yards a carry. Against Iowa, they were 4 for 4 in hits on the play. They were averaging over 5 yards a carry. It dipped in efficiency versus Indiana, 6 for 14. They averaged 3 yards a carry. Different circumstances. Yeah. So it feels like to me, you start seizing on that. They're like, hey, it's been a very successful play, and it's just going to set up play action down the line, which is exactly what it did versus Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I understand this, and so this is going to be another long soliloquy, as you probably already know. In society, we're right now society in everything. Not like I need it now, right now. If I have a text message, I'm going to send it, whatever. Internet, I want to see something, something happens already on the internet. And so for fans, I know that they want the coordinator to be a professional right away. In the combination of coordinators, if you will, in this case. And the thing is, that you have to realize when you take the emotion out of it, like wait a minute, we're breaking in a new quarterback, but these are 2 first-time play callers as well, right? So they're still figuring out not only who they are as play callers, right? They're still figuring out who JJ is as a quarterback. JJ's still figuring out who he is as a quarterback. They're still trying to figure out what the offensive line is fully capable of. What do they love? What do they really? I think they're starting to. But all of this is a process, right? And I feel like we're being spoiled at this point, right? Where there's a lot of coordinators breaking in and doing their deal, and they're like former coordinators, but just new to a team, and they are struggling, right? Trying to find a way, can't figure it out. And there are plenty of quarterbacks that are new to a team and just cannot figure it out, struggling. And so I just think that I understand that, hey, these are well-paid, seem like public officials, right? Well-paid men, they should be perfect from the start, but that's just not realistic, right? And so I understand the emotional part of it, but if you take some of the emotion out, you understand that they're all growing together, and it's a beautiful thing to watch, right? Because they continue to dispel all these tendencies. They continue to move forward and have different answers for different problems. They see the problem, they attack it, they find the answer along with the quarterback. And it's I mean, if you don't love football and you don't know football, it's not as fun. But for me, I'm sure you can hear it is so fun to watch. Yeah. It's like they continue to evolve and change and do what they need to do so they can do what they want to do later. You know what I mean? It's really cool, actually.
Yeah. So here's another one, and I didn't hear this, so I'm gonna just take the commenter's word for this. This was a Joel Klatt thing. Do you think they're showing bunch set with the wide receiver screen and hit on a bigger play later in the season? Klatt was right about always tipping that play, but I see a play for a deep pass off it. Hey, you're talking about bubbles. It's a run control. I mean,
like most of the time it's run plays and JJ just throwing a bubble.
Yeah. So what are we talking about?
I mean, obviously there's the play of the fake. We've already seen it, actually. We've seen the fake block off of the bubble and go deep. I don't understand. I was actually with Reggie. I'm gonna just bring him up because I know you're gonna try and do it. I'm just bringing him up right now. He has some analysis, actually. I'm sitting on the sideline next to him, and he like, man, I hate that play. Why do they keep running bubbles so much? Like, why do everybody just run bubbles so much, especially when it doesn't work? And the thing is, I think it stretches the defense. And even if you don't gain, I've talked about it ad nauseum. Just because you don't hit the deep shot doesn't mean the deep shot didn't work. Uh-huh. Just because the bubble doesn't get 12, 10, 5 doesn't mean the bubble didn't work. Because now, stretch. The defense continues to stretch. And then guess what? You run for 400 yards.
And why didn't the bubble hit? He was errant on a couple of those throws.
He did miss a couple. But then you rush for 400 yards.
Yes.
But everybody's ignoring the fact that that's a historic day. But they're like, oh, man, stop throwing bubbles. Well, do you think that – can you take your emotion out of it for 1 second and think, well, dang, maybe because they were so adamant about stopping the bubbles and seeing how successful we had been with the bubbles that they continue to stretch. And not only did they move out of the way, but they set up what we talked about earlier in the segment, winner blocks, right? So you got bubbles, setting up winner blocks, stretching the linebackers and stretching the defense. You got JJ running, stretching defense. So think about all the things that a defense has to think about when they're about to play for one run play. They have to worry about two of the top, maybe probably the best combo of backs maybe in the country. Like they're starting to really turn on. That's a top 10 team they did that against, right? Hitting their head on the goalpost. So I don't feel ridiculous in saying that this could be one of the best tandems in the country. You got to worry about those two. And then sometimes they split them out at wide receiver, so now they both on the field at the same time. Then you got to worry about Roman Wilson, who has caught bubbles and taken it to the crib, right? And then you got to worry about JJ taking the ball and running for 15 or 10. And at some point, he's going to break it and really, really hit his head on the goalpost. So, I mean, I'm just going to go home. What is wrong with
this dude said, Tobias said, Devin dressed like it's winter in Wakanda. They won't stop.
You know what's so
funny?
Won't stop. You know what's so funny? You know I be blocking people a lot. You know, you always talk about how I block people a lot. But if a joke is funny and if it's good, I don't block you. But if it's garbage and you're trying to interject and like be funny and it's not funny, I block them every time. So just make sure it's good. If you're going to send it to me, I'm just telling you, make sure it's good. It needs to be good to me.
Hey, Devin, we've had questions coming in for you. Did you find out who the guy was that was trying to block you going into the stadium and then find him on Twitter so you could block him?
No. I'm sure he probably don't even got Twitter. I was very upset though. Like I was kind of hot. You know
I
what I
can
mean?
tell. You still
I was
about
not. I did not like that one bit.
Sam,
And
he's
it's like
hot 'cause
because
of what
every
he's
time I
wearing.
come to a game, I don't come to mini games because I got like stuff to do. When I come to a game, I park wherever I park, and usually in the media parking lot, or
But
whatever.
did he let Reggie Bush in with no problem?
Oh, he let Reggie Bush in with no problem. Let him run right
Oh,
on
what the
down.
hell?
Didn't say a word. And he didn't bleed and cough up blood and damn near die for the program. But I'm not gonna get into that. Okay. I drive my scooter from wherever I park. You know, it's a far walk. So I'll drive my scooter, park my scooter right there at that little crevice, like right at the start of the big house, and then I go, do my thing or whatever. This guy wanted to be superhero guy today. I just don't get it. And then I came back, and I don't know if it was him. I'm not gonna blame him because I don't know. I wasn't there. And like put my scooter outside, like in a position to be like stolen, and it was gonna get real ugly. It was gonna get real ugly, but it all worked out.
It all worked out.
I went to go, sit in the truck and watch the game from the truck for a little bit. Came back, put my scooter, and then it wasn't touched. Yeah. And I just, I'm such a nice guy. And that's like, why you want to take me there? Why? Why today? Why are you doing this? And so, it's all good. I don't even remember what he looked like. I don't know his name. It's all good. I know it seems like it's not all good, but it's all good.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
But
you seem a little bothered.
You know what I'm saying? You keep talking to Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush ran right on down in the big house. I mean, didn't even say nothing to him.
See, he see Reggie Bush on TV all the time.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why you need that spot.
Yeah, whatever the case
none
may
of
be. I know. Next time I won't be as cordial.
All right. Well,
Probably. So
it won't be a problem next time. I'm sure.
I sure hope.
I'm sure, DG. So, let me be clear. I don't want to sit here and make it sound like there's nothing they could do better offensively. I'm not saying that.
We talked about the red zone. Sure.
Yeah, I feel like we start to harp on things though that aren't problems. Let's talk about the passing game
Mm-hmm.
because now
you're the most efficient passer in the country.
Yes,
the most efficient passing game in the country from the starting quarterback.
Yes, and they talked about this one thing I heard during the broadcast, and it's going to come a time where they do need to generate more explosives through the air, but you don't get away from that in a game where you're running it down their throat. So this notion that receivers aren't creating separation and they aren't scheming guys open as much. I mean, can you really draw that conclusion from or should you really draw that conclusion from what we've seen thus far, or especially from what we saw in that game?
So this is the thing that I want to. So like Patrick Mahomes, he threw the ball over everybody's head so much that everybody's like, too high, back up, dude. We're not. You're gonna have to figure out a different way. And so I know our offensive line is really, really good, and our running backs are really, really good. Like I'm talking about top notch, but they are so much better because of the respect they give this young kid who hasn't proven to throw it over your head all the time. Completed, right? He's thrown it over your head a few times, but he hasn't completed a whole bunch of them. So they're all that we want from a explosive big play passing game. We're getting those things, and we rush for 40 yards because of it. Because they have all those defenders displaced. They're like, no, we will let you run the ball. We'll figure it out there. We're not allowing this guy to throw it over our head. We've seen that he's capable. We know he's finally going to hit some at some point. We're not going to allow it. Right. So I think that that you can't throw. If people are back and they're paying too high and different things, like you can't just throw the ball deep. Like that's not how football works. Like Peyton Manning on the simulcast that they do. I remember one time he was like, "Oh, too high. Run the ball. Just run the ball." And the thing is, when you watch Peyton Manning play all those years, he was the guy calling the plays. They call him the sheriff for a reason. He was calling, and he would actively get a guy that we thought as a stat pattern, right? A guy that's just getting all the stats passing. He actively called run plays for himself and got out of pass plays, right? Because the defense dictated it. And so I think that a lot of defense is dictating that we run the ball. Now, one example that we do have, a real example, is Indiana, where for whatever reason we couldn't run the ball. What do? Start throwing the ball. Mm-hmm. Throwing the ball. And it doesn't have to be a 75-yard pass, 65. No, 35 on the line, 35 there, 25 there, 20, whatever the case may be. I mean, I guess like because the thing is they're playing so well, it's a nitpick thing where you got to kind of, we won't have a show if we don't say something's wrong, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I think that we still have a show. This show's great. I mean, it'd be so much fun. We don't even have to talk about football at some point. It's just me and Sam just hanging out. But I think that at some point you have to look at what the defense is doing and suggesting that the offense does. And I don't think like Air Force sometimes run for 400 yards, like people aren't just rushing for 400 yards, rolling their helmet out there.
Right.
There has to be a reason.
Right.
Right. So but it seems like people we want to rush for 400 yards, but we also want to pass 400 yards in the same game. Only person that's going to do that is me. So no, I didn't do that. It's just kidding. Do find it, dog.
All right. Here's another one, another specific question. I love when they run the option play, but is there a reason why they always seem to run it to the short side of the field? It would seem to make more sense to run it to the wide side.
I can't answer that question. I don't know why they run it to the short side. You get on the defend a little faster to the field. There's a lot of times a wide 9, right? Mm-hmm. And that wide 9, it takes a lot longer to get to, and he can kind of slow play it and allow his people to come. But when you run it to the short side, you get up on the defensive end a lot faster, right? And I think that could be a reason. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a guess for me, that I would think a wide 9 to the field will be harder for JJ to really attack and get up on to create the pitch scenario or keep or whatever. Whereas to the boundary, I think that he gets on him a little faster, so a decision can be made, and it's usually a pitch decision, and the running back can go. The one thing I would say about the option, I want to see JJ attack him just a little bit more. Right, he pitches it pretty early, and it works, and it's all good. But I think if he attacks him just a little bit more, put more pressure on the defensive end, it'll allow for bigger runs for Blake. But the runs have been, good with the option. They sprinkled it in. It hasn't been a staple in the offense or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
I saw the Chiefs do it with Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes saw them totally ignoring him.
Yeah, and then took
it. So it's something you can do. And it doesn't really put your quarterback in as much risk as you think it would.
I remember I always had the option to change the speed option if I saw a look that I liked, like literally free reign. Coach Ward gave me free reign to change the speed option, and I know for sure I scored a touchdown against Notre Dame doing it. Right, we on the goal line. I changed the play at the last second. It was probably a terrible decision to try to change the play so late, but I didn't have as much courage. And I just was, it was my first, night game, first 98, you know what I'm saying? I was questioning myself, and then the clock's running down, but I'm like, nah, man, you tough. You the man, you do it. And I did it, and I scored, but we almost got a penalty. And then I think I did it against Ohio State. I don't know if it was called or if I went to it or if I suggested it, but went to it Ohio State for a touchdown before I broke my foot. And then again, when I went and pitched it, and I got destroyed by one of the defensive linemen, but then Fitz walked in the end zone. So I think that the speed option is a great weapon, especially if you don't abuse it.
All right, this one, another Klatt reference. People take what he says as gospel. I like what Klatt said. Can McCarthy carry the team when they need him?
We'll see.
Is his point.
We'll see. But he played against Indiana, guys. He threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. How many touchdowns do we have in that game? How many we have in that game,
in the Indiana game?
How many touchdowns we had?
Was it 3? Was it only the 3? And then field goals after that? I can't remember. It was 31. Because I can't remember. Ira, how many touchdowns they have against Indiana? Was it 4 touchdowns and a field goal?
I believe it was 4 touchdowns and a field goal.
4 touchdowns and a field goal.
3 out of 4. That's 75% of the offensive touchdowns came from the quarterback. So, you say what you want about Indiana, whatever. Obviously, we talked about the circumstances, and it almost, you don't want to say, oh, he's carrying, because I feel like that's kind of disrespectful to the rest of the team or whatever. But it's just a thing that you say in sports, right? So no disrespect to anybody, but if he throws 3 touchdowns in a game, right, and throws 300 yards, that's carrying the team, because we weren't able to run the ball as effectively as we once had, and that time is going to continue to come at some point. We would love to rush for 400 yards every single week, but he had his opportunity and he delivered in that case. And then you come into this week and he doesn't need to deliver in that way.
Yeah, this is a great comment from Josh Gardner. He said, y'all need to stop playing Madden. All y'all want video game stats every game. We do what works and we keep winning games.
Who is this? Josh Gardner. I'll follow him back. I'm not going to block him at all. Because his name kind of like mine, Gardner, but except he missing a D there. Or maybe I got too many letters. I got a D, extra D. Whatever the case may be. It's like, man, why didn't JJ only threw for 145 or whatever he did? I don't think he did. He didn't throw a touchdown, did he? Did he?
JJ in the last game? No, he didn't throw.
He ain't doing nothing, man. But it's like they ignore the fact that he rushed for 418 yards. And we had 2 very long touchdowns, and that we drove the ball down their throat almost every single time and had count them. No, can't count them. 0 punts. I made a tweet, and you guys should definitely go. Brad Robbins has a great foundation that he's doing, Penn Cancer Deep. And I think it's based off of like punts that he lands inside the 10 or something like that.
50-yard punts and anything inside the 20 and 10, yeah.
He didn't punt in a game. You should triple everything. Everything. He didn't punt. He didn't have to work. First of all, his scholarship needs to be taken because he's not doing his job.
No, he had great holds on 4 field goals.
So he holded great on those field goals. But in all seriousness, go donate to his thing, man, because he didn't punt. Do you understand that? Like, people are complaining about the explosiveness of the offense in the passing game. Our punter didn't work.
That's right.
Against a top 10 team, he didn't work. He doesn't have a job. He's a holder. He's no longer a punter. He's a good punter. My favorite player. I think I made it very clear. I like his mustache too. Is good. But he didn't work, dude. He only did his backup job, which was the hold. That's his secondary job. They can have anybody hold. They just want to get this guy a chance to earn a scholarship, essentially. Like, he didn't work. Go donate to his thing and stop complaining about explosive plays when a top 10 team rolled into our house and they were dominated from the start. And you rushed for 400 yards. And the quarterback didn't make – I mean, he had the interception for a touchdown, but as we talked about, it's the tippity. He throws it, the guy flails his arm out, and it gets tipped or whatever. But the most efficient quarterback coming into the game, I don't know if he still is, but I'm sure he's up in the top 5. Most efficient quarterback in football, in college football. Like, that's not like a little thing. And it's like, oh, well, he played this team, he played this team. You think other teams don't play bad teams? Other teams have the opportunity to dominate bad teams, right? And they just don't. They just hadn't. You know what I mean? Or at least to the level that he's been able to, and the efficiency he's been able to play with. And people are going to say, well, yeah, he has a great running game. So are we going to punish him for having a great running game that helps him out? Because I'm just telling you, I would love to have a great running game to help me out. Because I'm just saying, Denard's my dog. I'm not Denard. I can't be the running game. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I'm just not physically built like this. I'm like a drop-back passer that somehow found a way to be a good athlete or something. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? What are we arguing and talking about? It's so weird. Meanwhile, our friends in another place, they're really struggling to find all of those things.
All right. So speaking of which, this question from Robert Aiken says, how do you see the play calling unfolding with MSU? More passing? Also, how will Michigan match up defensively with MSU's passing attack?
Wait, they got a passing attack?
Yeah,
that was a good one. No disrespect. I mean, it is the rivalry, guys, right? Don't come and get in my comments. First of all, I'm going to block you. But I'm just saying, don't come talking crazy to me, Spartan fans. And the funny, they love posting. I'm going to answer the question. But they love posting I was sitting on the bench and they put like a minus 48 because you remember I think it was like minus 48 rushing yards. They understand I don't play running back, right? I'm not offended by that. Like, you're insulting my teammates because I vividly remember I was running from I was juking, dodging, and somehow it was like other people coming. They just kept coming. You know what I mean? I don't understand that thing. And they think it hurts my feelings. All it does is make me block you. And then it's like you're just talking to yourself at this point. You only got 4 followers, and I was going to pay attention to you a little bit, but now I got to block you. It's crazy. But I think that you're going to see much of the same. All right, I think that Michigan State is going to sell out and try to stop the run, right? I think they're going to do their best to stop the run because you just watch the team rush for 400 yards. I'm just telling you, they used to have built their team on toughness and stopping the run and running the football, right? And so I don't think all of that has gone away because if Coach Tucker sent that away, that would be ridiculous, right? That's the basis of why they've been so successful, that chip on their shoulder. And so it's so funny. I talk to like fans and like people that I work with that went to Michigan State or whatever, and like they're doing Lamborghinis and all this stuff. Like, that's not who we are. We're the grit. We don't have nothing. We work for everything team. And so I remember, I feel like I talked about this last year. Like, that's downfall. You like turn into somebody that you're turning to everything that you say you hate about, like Michigan, an elitist program type of thing. You know what I mean? And so I think that some of that grit is gone, but they're going to get up for this game and they're going to put everybody in the box and they're going to force this young quarterback who they think, right, is somebody they had their number on. Even though he played pretty good, he had the fumble that kind of led to the loss, which we talked about it. It's a group effort fumble. Now, it wasn't just one kid made a mistake. You know what I mean? I think they got his number. I think they have his number. And so I think they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to put a spy on you. We're going to have everybody in the box. We are not allowing the little engine that can, will, must, and is going to run through our throats, which is, my guy, Blake Corum. He's outstanding. He's the little engine that could, can, will, and must. And he's going to they're going to say, you know what? No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it, and we're not allowing it. And they're going to try to get up in the faces of the receivers and going to make them make accurate throws and different things like that, maybe take some deep shots. And he'll have to deliver, and I think he will. So I think that's what the game is going to look like. And on defense, I think we're going to continue to pin our ears back and play great defensive football because there's no sneaking up. They've lost 2 in a row. They're pissed off. You're not going to say, oh, they're just Michigan State. They're weak this year. No, they beat you 2 years in a row. So they're going to go in there pissed.
You know they don't have a pass defense, though, right? You know, like they don't even practice pass defense at East Lansing, right? You know that, right?
I think they do pass.
I don't even think
they
practice
DB coach.
I don't even think they practice.
Even Nick Saban of the Big Ten.
Yeah, he went to a coach's clinic. He went to a Nick Saban clinic. It didn't translate though.
By the way,
it didn't translate though.
And
to
you
what
guys
they're
know
doing
Nick
out there.
Saban's team just played a Big 12 game down in the SEC.
Yeah,
So.
gave up like 500 yards passing or something like that.
See?
Yeah, but this is different. But he actually has some guys. He's actually coached pass defense before. Michigan State last 2 years. You remember what you said last year?
What'd I say?
Everybody could have a career day against Michigan State.
No.
That's not what you said.
I didn't say that. I came with receipts and evidence that everybody has had a career day against Michigan State passing defense. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true this year, but last year, yes. Every single quarterback had the best day they'd ever had in their lives. I don't know if they're doing that this year. Well, I haven't looked through, that stuff. I don't have Michigan State this year as a right now.
Yeah, you don't heal that overnight. That lingers. That lingers.
I understand that, Nathan. See, this won't get you blocked. He says, so Devin can understand MSU with Kenneth Walker is McDonald's, sesame seed buns, those things. Our seeds have no buns. Without them, they are McDowell's. Our seeds have no buns. See, they got the golden arch. We have the golden arcs. This is sick. This is a sick episode. This is a sick day. What time is it?
Yeah,
we need to get off there.
Then you have Sam Jack showing up trying to rob the place 12 times.
Who the are you?
All right, we got to get out of here.
Please refrain from using any further obscenities in the presence of these people.
That's right, man.
I will be forced to thrash you.
I'm impressed.
I'll be forced to thrash you.
We're gonna do a whole Coming to America read. Devin, you and I can. I'm with you.
I will definitely do it.
I'm with you.
I don't even need the paper.
Honestly. So we can leave like this. So you just found that woman that you think is the one, and you were dancing with her, and you not that one. That's not who he wanted. It was after he got a chance.
Yeah.
To sit down with Lisa. He went out to dance. He was hearing the song, and they were saying someone to kiss, someone to miss, and he was singing and walking down the street. You remember that part?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Hold on. To be.
Well, practice. Okay. I promise he'll do it next week. Folks.
Someone to kiss.
There you go.
Someone to miss when you're away. Okay, let's just leave. This is stupid. Why
don't you shut up?
Yes, you too. I love you. Monday Morning Quarterback fans. You're amazing.
Yes, it is a blast. Now it's time for the film study. We will put that up later, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, in between time, thanks for listening to another edition of the Monday Morning Quarterback here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WT.